Thanks very much, guys. So we're going to be talking about Terra uranium. We're in the Athabasca Basin in Canada. Yep, that's all. You've all read that? That's good. A quick snapshot of who we are. We're uranium people. We know the business back to front. We've been doing it for a long time. We deal very closely with the First Nations people. We're operating under treaties in Canada. It's not very different to what happens in Australia. We're in the Athabasca Basin in Canada, which has the largest and highest grade mines in the world. We've advanced our projects since listing 2 years ago to being drill ready, and we're in the process of looking for partners to drill those. And we're closing the acquisition of a new project a little further north, which has a defined resource. It's under the Canadian system, 43101, and we'll be bringing it into the JORC system, and we've got significant growth in the future, as everybody says. A little bit on our background. So we listed in September 2022, ASX codes T92. 92 is the atomic number for uranium, for people who don't know that. Shares on issue 67 million, so it's very tight. Share price around 15, we're a little lower than that today. Market cap at 10. We've got sufficient cash. We've just done a raise recently, and very, very tightly held. So the top 20 shareholders, including the board, hold about 60%. But I really want to highlight the little figure at the bottom right, which is that 73% of all the dollars we've raised have gone into the ground, into hard exploration, because that's where we're going to have some success in the future. Just looking across the board, myself, Doug Engdale is a Canadian based in Saskatoon, in Saskatchewan. Dr. Kylie Prendergast, an explorationist of world renown, and Hayden Lynch has recently joined our board because we realised we're all geologists and we needed somebody with a bit of corporate background. Mike McClelland is ex-Cameco, ran the exploration programs for Cameco in the Athabasca for many years. We managed to bring him out and asked where we would go to find the next major deposit, and that's what he's busily doing. I guess the emphasis here is that our operations team are Canadians based in Saskatoon, not in Vancouver or Toronto, and they know the people, they know the ground, and we can get rigs and we can actually do things. We mentioned the First Nations people. It's very important in Canada. If you don't have a good arrangement with them, you won't get on the ground. We did that from day one. Why we're in the Athabasca? It's pretty simple. It's got the biggest deposits in the world. It's an area, though, that's been explored extensively, but not at depth. So our targets are mostly a little deeper in the basin. And our Aim Lake project, which we're in the process of picking up at the moment, is at the other end of the spectrum. It's a bulk low-grade deposit, but we were really targeting deposits that can operate at an all-in sustaining cost of $20 a pound US or less. That's $20 when the current price is 94 last night. That's to give you an idea of our framework and our exploration framework. Our technical team is extremely strong. Geophysicists, geochemists, geologists, and we are looking for deposits that are around about 800 to 1,000 metres deep. That unconformity situation in the Athabasca is unique in the world. It's some very interesting things happening there. We can have deposits that are running from 15 to 25% uranium. In other words, a quarter of the rock is a uranium deposit. There's nowhere else in the world like this. This is where we find the giant deposits, which is why we targeted straight in on that area. You'll see the methods we're using from surface to depth: geochemistry, including helium, VTEM, which is a shallow EM method, ANT, which we introduced from Australia, so we brought that from South Australia and proved it in the Athabasca Basin. All our major competitors are now picking it up. It's very, very good at mapping the detail of the unconformity, and we're looking for those structures in the basement, and then the deep-seeking ZTEM, which was the main method in the past. There's a little map there on the right which shows you, I think, quite clearly why we are where we are, and it's a very large package we have. We generated all those projects ourselves. They're 100% owned. We peg them, and we've used our IPO funds to bring those through to drill-ready targets. I'd highlight the major zone on the right-hand side there, the yellow and brown zone, which includes deposits like MacArthur and Cigar, which are at the unconformity, 675 million pounds in one deposit, averaging around 20% uranium. Cigar is the other one at 350, which averages about 25% uranium. These are very, very rich deposits, but with that grade, they are very small. That's what it looks like when we're out there on the ice. It's a very harsh environment to operate in, and therefore it's expensive. That's an ice road across Passfield Lake. We also work in the summer program, particularly with the geophysics, and again, it's all helicopter-based. It would have minimal impact on the environment. Our new project that we're just in the process of closing on Aimer Lake has a defined resource, 15.3 million pounds. The fine print down the bottom says that this is Canadian compliant, NI 43101. It's not JORC compliant. Don't ask me why. You can later on, I'll explain it to you. Passfield Lake is just focusing on the area. That little anomaly there is showing that we can very clearly map the basin using Australian technology. We're very proud of that, and as I said, it's been picked up by all the other people in the basin and now proven on the Hurricane deposit by ISO Energy. That's what the Passfield target looks like. You can very clearly see the basement anomaly there, and we're getting some very interesting structures. It looks like we can see the actual structures in the basement as well, and that bit of a cloud sitting over the top of it is actually alteration in the sandstone, which has a slightly different velocity. So ANT is a seismic method. Parker, where we drilled our first hole and proved that two things: one, that we can target in on the mineralisation, and we got some at depth, and secondly, that drilling in the Athabasca at these depths is very expensive. Hawk Rock to the north, a big dispersion train at surface. We are doing some more work on that this coming summer season. Portfolio, because we have people on the ground, we're able to pick up vacant ground, which is very hard, and we've just picked up a couple of new projects. These are grassroots, so we'll build those up over the next couple of years. Aimer Lake, which we were talking about, very large dispersion area, and as we bring this resource up to JORC standard, we'll focus it first and then expand it. Quick thing on the investment highlights: we have 18 drill-ready targets in the Athabasca. We own them 100%. We've got the largest land holding on the Cable Bay Shear Zone, which is now completely pegged out, all surrounding us. All the companies surround us are 10 to 100 times our size. We've picked up some resources in the Aimer Lake area. Companies very tightly held, and we're on the cusp of further growth, along with the major rise in the uranium price, which is coming. As I said, it's consolidating now, and it'll be around the 150 mark by the end of this year. Thank you very much.